Hello, and welcome to this mini practice that is designed to prepare you specifically for running. If you're not a runner and you found yourself here, don't worry. These movements are still going to be good body prep for whatever you're going out to do. However, if you are a runner, you'll find that these movements are really geared toward the movement that you know so well, that is quite repetitive and that can lead to fatigue, overuse injury, or otherwise compounding issues if we're not tending to our bodies properly. So let's go ahead and dive on into this. To start, make sure that you have something like a chair or maybe a small table that you can place at the front edge of your mat. We are going to have a movement series where we use that as a support. You'll see why. Other than that, let's dive in. You're not here to be here for a super long time, so I won't keep you super long. We're going to start with feet spread out in a squat distance. And you go ahead and round your way down. Let your back round even as your hips sink below. Think of your knees still driving out, but they're beyond your ankles. When you press into your feet to stand, arms come out to a capital A position. Squeeze your glutes, squeeze your shoulder blades, look up. Exhale, rounding down into that squat. Inhale, we'll come up this time, arms into a T position. Same thing, squeezing through the posterior chain. Exhale, round it down. Inhale, round it up. This time, arms up into a Y. Same thing. All right, let's go through all of that just once more. These are ATY squats. Great way to isometrically engage. Last one. All right, take from here. Maybe take some arm circles. Let there be some movement through your shoulders. We're going to get some side to side going. So back foot steps back and behind into this curtsy lunge. Fingers can reach for the floor. On your way up, really stand into that front leg. And to the second side. On your way up, standing with the front. We can start to add in a little bit of a high knee when we're bringing that back leg forward. Ideally, in our warm-up, we work through a variety of ranges of motion. We get muscles activated, communicating with our spinal cords, our brains. And we also go through ranges of motion that are a bit beyond what we might actually do in our workout, so that we're not in the workout suddenly finding this range of motion that's beyond what our muscles have prepped for. So exaggerating the high knee, exaggerating the rotation here. Once more each side. All right, when you finish that, we're gonna keep right foot forward, step your left foot back. We're gonna prepare for a lunge where we almost bring the knee down. It doesn't quite touch, but the key thing here is to think of lightly squeezing your back glute as you descend and then rotate through your torso like you're holding a big ball. Rotate through your torso. All right, come up again, maybe drive that high knee. Step back, second side. Light squeeze of that glute. We're talking like 10 to 20% here. Rotate like you're holding a beach ball. Rotate again. And you guessed it, high knee. All right, once more each side here. Almost down. Beach ball rotation. Glute is lightly engaged. And high knee. Last time on the second side. Light glute engagement. Rotate that beach ball. And high knee. All right, from here, we're going to start to add in some more rotation, but this time from a little bit more balancey of a place. So I'm going to keep my left foot planted. There can be a light bend in that knee. Right leg's going to swing up behind, and I'm rotating to tap onto the ground, and then coming back up. rotating to tap and back up. Let's do two more. Match it to your breath. Think of the rotation really happening in your spine. And then we'll go ahead and switch it out. We're getting ankle stabilization here, but we're also getting some inner glute and adductor action, especially on that standing leg. Last one. All right, go ahead and bring it on up. Do some figure eights with your hips and other direction. I don't know about you, I'm getting warm, so that's a good sign. Okay, next thing we're gonna do is going to involve our props. So whether you have a chair, or a little table, you can even use the wall. What we're gonna do is just use this for support so that we're not having to focus so much on balancing and we can really zone in on our hips here. So you might want to use it already. If you have comfort in kind of a dancer form, then you might, feel fine for now. But right here, we're kicking into the hand and we're pulling hand against foot. And you can kind of move your leg and you're going to notice how that moves where you feel that sensation. Then we're going to come out to the side and stacking those hips, find that same movement. From here, a really subtle engagement you can think about is your sit bones drawing gently toward each other. So picture the innermost muscles of your glutes, bottom leg and top, engaging to facilitate this movement. And then we can come back to that more traditional dancer. Greet it again. And lean your way into this almost like a sugar cane variation, right? If you're a yogi here. But we're really focusing on those inner glutes finding each other. All right, go ahead and set this down, shake this out. We're gonna go a little bit further on this side before switching. And this is a place where I really recommend using the chair. So to start, let yourself be braced on the chair for some support. We're gonna bring leg into this dancer form and then open it up just like we were, but now we don't have the bind. You might find that it's helpful to lower down onto your left elbow. And then from here, kick that leg out. Keep thinking of those inner glutes. See if you can feel that really subtle engagement. Maybe bring that leg back in and kick it back out. Okay, now from here, I'm gonna keep my leg still. I'm not moving my leg. I'm just gonna move my pelvis to come all the way rounded down, parallel to the floor. And now I'm opening my pelvis back up. And again, squeezing those inner glutes gently. And then I'm bringing it back down. All right, let's do this a few more times. You're just rotating your pelvis. You're watching how your leg rotates with it. For example, if you were to just move your leg, notice what that looks like for me right now. Just moving my leg. But if I move my pelvis, I have a much larger range of motion and I'm engaging things in a very different way. All right, you might continue this for 3, 2, and 1. Go ahead and set that leg down. Give yourself a moment, maybe circle out your ankles. Obviously, they're stabilizing you throughout your run, so we're doing them some good right here too. And we'll go to side 2. So starting with that dancer-esque form, think of really active here, kicking into hand, pulling hand against ankle, maybe changing the angle here a little bit. And then maybe with support, opening up to the side. Same thing there. Notice how it feels to have your hips stack. You're going to think of it as movement from the pelvis more than the leg. Bring it back to that upright dancer. More in our frontal plane again. And then back down, finding that abduction, some external rotation at play here. Go ahead and let your hands both rest on your support. Kick that left leg out. Feel those inner glutes engaged to support here, and then bring it back in and kick it back out. From here, moving your pelvis. Go ahead and rotate those hips down to face the mat. And then lift them back up, rotating your pelvis up and open. Inner glutes. All right, rotate back down. And open back up. A few more times here. Use your breath, your exploration of sensation here. And when you feel balanced out, go ahead, let that foot drift to the mat. Stand your way back up. Wiggle it out. Okay, from here, feet are going to stand wide on your mat. We're going to turn right toes to face the skinny edge, setting up in kind of a warrior two form, if you're familiar with that. Noticing that it's kind of the same thing happening in our hips, right? This leg is really externally rotating, opening away from midline. On the back side of the pelvis, we have glutes reaching toward each other. And we're just going to find some breath here. So we're inhaling to circle arms, front arm to the back arm to the front. Exhale through center. Inhale, second side. Feel free to adjust your breath however you want here. Sometimes it's nice to exhale as you're reaching. Inhale in through center. Exhale as you reach. Just getting some movement here while our legs are steady. Excuse me. Up through center. Pause here. Switch your feet. Bend into your left leg. And second side. Might go for a couple more cycles. Once you feel balanced out, come back up through center. And from here, feet come beneath your hips. Let's take some bounces. And then you might let them turn into jumps. And one foot and the other. As you're doing these, notice your hips. Try to make sure your hips aren't dropping as you catch. So your hips stay fairly level, lifted. And now you might progress this into those hamstring pulls, heels toward glutes, maybe high knees, maybe butt kickers. Bring it back down, just hopping. Now we're thinking boxer hops, side to side. All right, bring it back down to just those heel lifts. Bring it down to stillness. All right, now from here, if you're running from wherever you are, you might feel pretty ready to go. If you are hopping in your car to go somewhere, you might consider at the trailhead or at the parking lot doing some of those movements again. Maybe those ATY squats, maybe some lunge and twists, maybe some curtsy lunges, some things, some hops, anything to get some of that muscle integration back into your body after you have perhaps left it for the run. So excited. Get out there, crush it, and feel free to find your way back to this channel. I'll be uploading some more videos along these lines.